Welcome back, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for today's explainer, mostly because we're unpacking something that affects pretty much all of us, or at least the people we love. Today, we're talking about the morning routine. Now, most of us start our day with a specific routine that we are completely 100% convinced is healthy. But what if the very habits you think are energizing you are actually creating a silent crisis for your heart? Well, today we're drawing on some truly fascinating insights from Dr. Clarence Martin to help us unlearn a super common yet remarkably dangerous morning routine for anyone over the age of 70. Okay, let's jump right in and reimagine how we start our day.
All right, Section 1, the dangerous morning habit. We're looking at a real morning crisis here. So Dr. Clarence Martin recently shared this incredibly relatable confession. His own mother, who's in her 70s, proudly called him up to boast about her brand new health kick. And her routine? She was jumping out of bed at 6 a.m. sharp, tossing back a double espresso, and immediately launching into this high-intensity cardio workout. And why? Because she wanted to, in her words, stay ahead of the clock. But Dr. Martin had to stop her right in her tracks. He told her, "Mom, I love the spirit, but you need to stand down. You are playing by a completely different set of rules now."
Which brings us to Section 2, the 40-year-old playbook. Talk about a massive system shock.
Dr. Martin quickly realized, hey, his mom is definitely not the only one doing this. So many people are out there trying to apply a younger person's routine to an older body, and it's creating some massive physiological risks. We're dealing with a really stark contrast here. On one side, we've got the 40-year-old playbook, right? That's all about high-intensity jump starts. Go, go, go. But on the other side, we have the 70-year-old body, which absolutely requires safe, gentle transitions. When you force that 40-year-old playbook onto a 70-year-old body, it's not a healthy start to the day. It's a massive system shock. It's a sudden, aggressive jolt that an older heart simply cannot bounce back from the way it once did.
And the reality of that shock? It's severe. Dr. Martin puts it pretty bluntly. He warns you're putting your heart and your brain in a chemical war zone every single morning. Just think about that phrase for a second, a chemical war zone. These supposedly healthy habits like sudden jolts of caffeine and intense exercise the literal second you get out of bed, they're actively creating a really dangerous internal environment.
Section 3, the quiet age shift. The rules of the game are changing.
It really all comes down to this biological process called immunosenescence. Basically, this is the natural aging of the immune system. But practically speaking, what this means for your day-to-day life is that your internal defense systems and your body's stress responses are just significantly slower and much less precise than they used to be. This is the whole physiological why behind those changing rules we talked about. It's a quiet shift that happens over time, completely altering how your system handles sudden stress. Because of that slower stress response, things you used to do without a second thought are now major system shocks. Think about a massive caffeine spike, a freezing cold shower, an intense cardio session. If you force your body into any of these before you've even had a simple glass of water, you're triggering this massive sudden release of cortisol and adrenaline. At age 30, your body handles that spike without blinking. But at 70, it's a completely different story. Here's the really crucial point. Shoveling all that sudden cortisol and adrenaline into your system completely overloads your cardiovascular architecture. Your blood vessels are older now. They just have different structural limitations. When you dump stress hormones into your system like that, it causes your blood pressure to skyrocket before those older blood vessels have even had a chance to wake up and expand for the day. Honestly, it's a recipe for a sudden heart event.
Moving on to Section 4. Listen to your body. It's time to pay attention to those quiet signals.
Let me ask you something directly. Do you ever wake up with a dry mouth? Think about your own morning today. Most of us experience this. We go brush our teeth and we completely forget about it. We just ignore it entirely.
But Dr. Martin points out that a dry mouth isn't just an annoyance. It's actually a critical signal. It's your body's way of quietly telling you, hey, blood sugar might be off, or hydration is deeply in the red zone right now. This is physiological communication. If we're constantly rushing around just trying to stay ahead of the clock, we miss these really quiet, vital signals.
If you ignore that dry mouth signal and just launch straight into a high-intensity workout, Dr. Martin says it's like driving a car with an empty radiator. That is an incredibly vivid and honestly terrifying metaphor. You're pushing a machine to its absolute limits without the essential fluids it needs to cool down and function safely. No way!
Section 5. The New Morning Formula. Let's look at the 70-plus prescription.
Okay, so here is the high-level breakdown of this whole sequential formula. Step 1. Sit on the mattress edge. Step 2. Check your functional health and hydrate. And step 3. Gentle resistance. Let's see how this all builds into a perfectly safe, energizing morning transition.
The first really crucial metric we need to look at is the number 2. 2 minutes. When you wake up, do not leave the bed immediately. You need to sit on the edge of the mattress for 2 full minutes. Why? Well, because it allows your proprioception, which is basically your body's innate sense of where it is in physical space, to properly recalibrate. Giving your body these 2 minutes is literally the absolute #1 way to prevent devastating morning falls.
Step 2 begins with checking your functional health. Before you even think about checking your daily to-do list, ask yourself, can you take a deep nasal breath without feeling lightheaded? Does your mouth feel like sandpaper? Nasal breathing is this incredibly powerful tool to calm the nervous system. By doing this, you are quite literally easing your heart into the day rather than just jolting it awake.
Once you've taken that deep breath, your next magic number is 12. You need to drink 12 ounces of room temperature water before you even glance at the coffee pot. Remember that empty radiator metaphor we talked about earlier? Drinking this water addresses that immediately. You have to lube the gears, so to speak, before you start the engine.
And then, finally, step 3. We are replacing that high-intensity shock with gentle resistance. We're talking about slow, steady movements, things like simple chair squats or using resistance bands. Just contrast this slow, natural wake-up call against the harsh drill sergeant's whistle of an intense cardio session. It's all about respecting your body's natural waking rhythm.
And look, this gentle resistance is absolutely vital because your muscles act as the armor that protects your bones and your overall independence. You build and maintain that armor not through sudden, crazy morning stress, but through consistent, gentle engagement.
All right, Section 6, Function and Longevity. This is the real goal. We really have to step back and weigh our true priorities here. On one hand, you've got hitting an arbitrary number on a treadmill. On the other hand, staying independent and actually playing with your grandkids. Dr. Martin reminds us that health after 70 is no longer about arbitrary fitness metrics. It's not about beating a personal best in a spin class. It is entirely about true function and long-term independence. It's about having the energy and the safety to live the life you want right in your own home.
And honestly, the truth is that the standard medical system usually just hands out a one-size-fits-all answer. Worse yet, fitness magazines lead so many people totally astray, convincing them they need to just hustle and grind, which ultimately lands them right in a doctor's office with a heart strain or a balance injury. You deserve personalized wisdom that honors the incredible machine that is your body, exactly where it is today.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty important question. Who in your life is still trying to just power through their mornings? Who do you know that's treating their 70-year-old body like a 40-year-old one and putting their aging heart at risk? We really need to look out for each other. So take this personalized wisdom and share this explainer with a friend, a sibling, or a parent. Let's protect those aging hearts by rethinking the morning routine. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Keep listening to those quiet signals and keep learning.